Hello everyone, welcome back again to Liverpool Report today. We've got the latest updates on our beloved club Liverpool, but before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of Liverpool Report news. Let's get started. He hung his shirt on the corner flag in front of the Liverpool fans. The question still remains if Trent Alexander-Arnold will be wearing it next season. It was not a kiss of the badge, but there was some serious emotion in the celebration of his 76th minute. The right-back, just 5 minutes after emerging from the bench on his return from injury, lashed the ball home with his left boot. After a scramble in the area, saw the Reds hit the woodwork twice. This was his first appearance since reports emerged that he would be heading to Real Madrid this summer. There still has been no confirmation from the player that is definitely the case. Was there a message in the celebration? Who knows, but it certainly was a release of something from the right-back. He raced towards the away fans in the corner of the King Power Stadium, whipped off his shirt and did a knee slide before letting out a roar. Maybe it was just the elation of moving the Reds 3 points closer to the Premier League title, his second for the club, but we wait to see if it is his last. Van Dijk pushed him towards the away end at full time to take the acclaim, but can he be convinced to stay? What isn't in doubt is Liverpool being Premier League champions. The champagne remains on ice for now, but they are one step closer to being champions, as Leicester's fate was sealed. The Foxes will return to the Championship. Both have felt inevitable for weeks now. Liverpool just have to wait a little longer. Arsenal's win over Ipswich earlier in the day meant this wouldn't be a title-winning party for the Reds. But if the Gunners lose against Crystal Palace on Wednesday, then Arneslot's men will be crowned champions while they watch on TV. Failing that, should they beat Tottenham next weekend, then it will be title number 20 heading to Anfield. Alexander-Arnold's goal, after Mo Salah had hit the post for the second time in the game and Diogo Jota cracked the woodwork, means they're so close. That moment brought drama to a game that was lacking it. Maybe it was the Gunners' result or the fact the mood around the King Power Stadium was a little flat, considering they know what's coming, but it wasn't much of a spectacle in the first half. It is 9 years since the Foxes won the Premier League title. They rightly remind everyone with some nice video montages before kick-off. But this is now their second relegation in 3 years, and there's growing anger at the club owners. There was even a banner flown from a plane above the stadium calling for the board to be sacked. It is likely to only be Ruud van Nistelrooy who loses his job this summer. He has struggled to get a tune out of the Foxes since he took charge in November. There was a banner in the away end for Virgil van Dijk, who signed his new contract last week, but it was his fellow renewer in Salah who almost opened the scoring early on. Salah hit both posts. It would be the first of a number of chances for the Egyptian. Leicester also hit the woodwork early on. Wilfred Ndidi's shot cracked the upright after good work from Steffi Mavididi. Salah was smiling when he turned Kostas Tsimikas' cross over from close range. Then Leicester scored, but it was ruled out for a foul on Reds keeper Alisson by Patson Daka before Connor Cody had put it in. The closest they've come here to seeing a home goal in the Premier League since December. Alexander-Arnold then came on and got the winner with his first ever goal with his left foot. The away fans were already singing about the Scouser in their team before he scored and again after. Among all the chants about winning the league, of course. Trent Alexander-Arnold marked his return to action for Liverpool with a belting goal to put them on the brink of winning the Premier League title. The Reds' right-back, who's expected to join Real Madrid on a free transfer this summer, rifled home in the second half after Arneslot turned to him for inspiration. Alexander-Arnold wasted no time to light up a drab affair, one which confirmed Leicester's relegation. Ruud van Nistelrooy's side needed to win, but suffered their 9th successive defeat at home without scoring. Liverpool supporters hoped to go into the game knowing that victory would confirm their 20th league title, but Arsenal had other ideas. The Gunners cruised to a 4-0 win away to 10-man Ipswich earlier the day, meaning that the champagne will have to stay in the fridge on Merseyside for at least a few more days. Here are 5 talking points from the King Power Stadium. Having only had the Premier League to focus on for the last month, Liverpool's performances, particularly in the first half of games, have been markedly less impressive. Slot has been quick to remind journalists and pundits that going into Sunday's game, the Reds had won 5 of their last 6 league matches, and rightly so. but supporters have been critical of their displays in recent weeks, and despite 14 attempts on goal in the first half, they weren't happy here. Sleepwalking again, one fan posted on X. Pedestrian, another bemoaned. The best chance of the half fell to Mo Salah inside the first 2 minutes, but he hit both posts after looking certain to score. Leicester looked a threat going forwards, seemingly buoyed by last weekend's 2-2 comeback at Brighton, and were searching for their first league goal at home since December. Wilfred Ndidi hit the post with a long-range effort in the 10th minute, although Van Nistelrooy's side could only muster one more shot before half-time. It was goalless and lifeless at the break. Before the season started, Liverpool's midfield was the main area of concern. How would they cope without a recognised number 6? Should they have signed an alternative to £51 million transfer target Martin Zubimendi? Well, Alexis Mac Allister and his partner Ryan Gravenberch have allayed those fears. In a half sorely lacking quality in 2 end thirds, it was Mac Allister who dominated the midfield. The Argentina international had created the most chances 3, won the most duels 5 and made the most tackles 3 of any player on the pitch by half-time. The question is, does Liverpool's midfield still need adding to? Where's Cody Gakpo put his shooting boots? Over the winter, the Dutch forward was banging in the goals, but now hasn't scored for Liverpool since February 6th. His solitary strike since then came for the Netherlands against Spain in the Nations League quarter-finals last month. You have to go even further back to find Gakpo's last Premier League goal, as he struck twice against Ipswich on January 25th. The former PSV Eindhoven star only lasted an hour at the King Power, with Slot making the changes minutes after Ricardo Pereira blocked Gakpo's goal-bound shot. Diogo Jota came on in his place, having scored 9 goals against Leicester in his previous 14 games. For the first time since a surge of reports claimed that Alexander-Arnold has agreed to join Real Madrid, the defender stepped out onto the pitch for his boyhood club for his 350th appearance. In what could prove to be one of his final games for Liverpool, Alexander-Arnold returned from an injury which kept him out of the Reds' previous 4 games, including the Carabao Cup final. His introduction alongside Harvey-Elliott came shortly after Leicester had a goal ruled out. Conor Coady prodded home after Alisson Becker failed to deal with an aerial ball, but it was disallowed due to a foul on the Liverpool goalkeeper by Patson Daka. Alexander-Arnold didn't take long to make an impact, having won a corner when his cross was blocked by Luke Thomas. After a goalmouth scramble, the ball fell to Liverpool's number 66, and he belted a left-footed strike on the bounce through a crowd of red and blue shirts and through Mads Hermansen. Taking his shirt off and celebrating passionately in front of the away end, you could see what it meant to Alexander-Arnold, who was booked after celebrating the first left-footed goal of his career. Leicester appealed vehemently for a foul, but the goal stood. They needed a miracle, and it never came. Leicester will play in the Championship next season, after becoming the second team after Southampton to have their relegated. Van Nistelrooy has already admitted that the Foxes are planning for the future, but this game will have given him some encouragement for a potential promotion push in 2026. There's now only one relegation spot remaining, which Ipswich will almost certainly fill in the coming weeks. Arneslot has denied that Darwin Nunez clashed with a member of Liverpool's coaching staff during training last week, which resulted in him being snubbed from the matchday squad that beat West Ham at Anfield. The Uruguayan has not been a guaranteed starter throughout the campaign, but to not even make the 20-man squad that feature in a Premier League game was headline-worthy. Nunez's future has been very much under the spotlight as he continues to struggle for consistency. There are rumours of a summer exit for the former Benfica man, who remains the club's most expensive signing. But Slot insists he wasn't overlooked for selection for reportedly having words with a member of the coaching staff, which resulted in him leaving a training session. Nunez will travel to Leicester with Slot, claiming he was simply not feeling himself last week. The Dutchman said he didn't feel himself the day before the match, and he went inside, and he wasn't able to be part of the team the day after. The Liverpool manager was then asked if he had words with a staff member, to which Slot replied, "No, he didn't. He did leave the pitch because he didn't feel himself." Nunez has only started 8 times in the Premier League, but has featured 42 times in all competitions. In that time, he's managed to return just 7 goals with his finishing in front of goal, still a major work on for the Uruguayan, who was called out by his manager after missing glorious chance against Aston Villa. Slot has criticised Nunez for his work rate against Wolves and Villa in February. He said after the stalemate at Villa Park, "What was a bit harder for me to accept was his behaviour after that chance. I think it got too much in his head, where he wasn't the usual Darwin that works his off and makes sure he helps the team." Nunez has been linked with a move to Saudi Arabia, which could prove lucrative for the Reds and help them cut their losses should they choose to cash in. The Liverpool manager made few changes to the squad in his first summer at the helm, but has confessed new energy would prove beneficial. He said, "I think the core of the team you want to keep as long as you can together, as long as they are performing in the best possible way. But it is also in general good to have some new energy in and around the place with 1 or 2 players. That I agree on. But it isn't really a necessity when you look at the quality we have and the quality of the season we have had."